Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is the Wrestling Fans Podcast. Sorry, Wrestling Fans Insight Podcast. Easy for me to say. Quit laughing at me already, Will. But anyways, you are here listening to episode 27. And for those of you who are actually here listening to us live and willing to participate, shortly after we do this recording, we are actually going to go ahead and record the following week's episode 28. That's pretty much just going to be a total nonsense episode. We're going to entitle it Ask Us Anything, but if there is any questions, Heather and I will come up with some different things to talk about, I'm sure. Anyhow, Will, welcome back. How's it going for you?
Better than it was the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, you're definitely looking better. You sound better.
Yeah.
All right. Heather, how have you been?
I've been pretty good. Catching up on this wrestling is tiring.
Well,
but yeah.
What are you saying, Heather? It's only 10 hours of programming we're covering in a 1 to 2 hour podcast every week.
Oh goodness, yeah, it's just it's not enough. I need a lot more.
Well, we can give you more. We'll assign you New Japan, Impact, NWA.
No, thank you.
Maybe we can get MV Streams to provide us one extra license and we'll just have you on full on watch for us.
No, okay, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, damn it. All right. Well, anyways, just want to share a couple of things. I guess I should say I have, because Will didn't really have a choice. It's my damn project anyways. Heather is now an official member of the Wrestling Fans Insight podcast team. Heather has been doing a good job with us these last few episodes, and where I kind of need some extra bodies, volunteers I should say. It's great to have a wrestling fan like Heather, not only just because she's a wrestling fan, but it's also nice to have the opposite gender's view on things too. So I'm not saying that we're trying to be equal, but it's nice to have all-around fans for sure. And while we're at it, we were looking through the rankings of the Good Pods app. We kind of fell a little bit short this week, but we are still within, I believe, in the top 30 of each category that we mentioned last week. Last week we hit some really high numbers. I don't know if I showed that to you, Will.
No.
I'll have to show it to you after the recording, but
I've been a little bit busy.
yeah, I think 2 of them we were within the top 10 of the one being the wrestling category, the other being the indie wrestling category. And I believe we hit, I think it was number 16 or number 17 in the top 100 of the indie sports podcasts, which that's pretty good, especially, for one, us just being new to the podcasting world, but also with Good Pods still being fairly new to the podcasting servers, that's actually really good. Yeah, I moved my water ball, sorry. Anyhow, but I want to give a real big thanks to William and Heather, who've been awesome co-hosts. If it wasn't for them, I don't think we could have reached that level either. So, Heather, William, thank you for everything you guys do on this project.
And thank you for having me.
All right. Shall we go ahead and get right into the fun stuff for the week?
Yeah,
yes, let's get started.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Will's kind of hurry up, damn it.
No, I'm just trying not to fall asleep here. It's been a long 3 weeks.
Anyways, all right. Let's go ahead and kick off the week of Monday, or not Monday, but the WWE. Now my levels went higher. We're going to go ahead and start with the Monday Night Raw results. Bianca Belair defeating Io Sky. Seth freaking Rollins gets the victory over Rey Mysterio. Kevin Owens and Johnny Gargano get a great team victory over the Alpha Academy. Omos defeats 2 jobbers. I didn't bother writing their name because it was worthless. We have a interesting debut. Candice LeRae makes her main roster debut on Monday Night Raw. as she defeats Nikki. I'm going to call her Nikki Cross, but everyone knows her now as Nikki Almost Superhero. I just wish she would go back to the Cross name. Then match number 6, Sami Zayn gets, I guess you can call a victory over AJ Styles. And in the main event match of the night, we had Matt Riddle defeating Damian Priest of Judgment Day. Going into the NXT 2.0 results, Mandy Rose defeats Fallon Henley. Match number 2, which ended on a referee stoppage due to a possible injury, Wesley gets a victory over Tony D'Angelo. In match number 3 of the night, Sol Ruka.
Sol Ruka.
Thank you. Defeats Ari Miller. Joe Gacy gets the victory over Cameron Grimes. Nikita Lyons in an impressive victory over Caden Carter. Ilya Dragunov gets the victory over Zion Quinn. And in the Pub Rules match, which was a tag team, well, not really a tag team because there was no tags, Briggs and Jensen gets the victory over Gallus. That was one hell of a match, too, I have to admit. And going right into the SmackDown results, Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa gets the tag team victory over Ricochet and Madcap Moss. Drew McIntyre, I guess you can say, defeats Austin Theory via DQ. Ronda Rousey gets a victory over Natalya. Bayley over Shotzi. And in the main event, a 6-man tag, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Johnny Gargano get the victory over Austin Theory and Alpha Academy. You got some overall thoughts on the 3 programs, Will?
Yeah, actually, I enjoyed all 3 this week. I think all 3 managed to keep a pretty good level and balanced show.
Heather?
Yeah, I liked all 3 shows. Pretty good. Of course, my highlight was the Johnny Gargano and KO and Drew against Theory and Alpha Academy. And you know why.
No, can you enlighten us?
Because Theory got his head kicked in again.
Because you only mentioned in the previews on Twitter for your love of the bloodline, so I just wondered.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it because the way the match ended, because, Theory got the Claymore from Drew, then Gable got the Stunner from KO, and then, of course, Gargano got, what the heck did he get? Anyway, he got Otis outside of the ring. But anyway, it was a good ending to that match, a good ending to SmackDown.
Right, and I'm right there with Will. I thought all 3 were pretty well balanced. NXT just seemed a little rushed with the 8 matches they've had. However, it is developmental, so of course it's going to be one of those tweak and peaks, I guess you can call it, to get character development ready for going main roster. I thought there was some interesting spots there. I really love the fact that lately they've been showcasing the women a lot better, especially starting off with the 2 factions with Damage Control, and then their continuous feud with Bianca Belair, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. However, it kind of feels like maybe we need to hurry this storyline up a little faster.
Yeah, it seems like it's losing traction.
Yeah, I get a little worried if they go just a little too long, fans are not going to have the interest in either one. And going with the Seth Rollins getting the victory over Rey Mysterio, not really quite understanding where that was going, other, of course it sets up for Dominic to come out and taunt his father even more. Kevin Owens, with Gargano, who definitely make a great team, but we need to really maybe keep them focused as single stars for right now. I still would hope at some point they're going to reunite Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. possibly take the tag team championships off the Usos. Alpha Academy, I think we need to get them a little more sparked up. It feels like ever since they lost the Raw Tag Team Championships, whoops, my fault. Ever since they lost the Raw Tag Team Championships, they really haven't had much for them. It just feels like they're playing the jobber role. Omos,
Nope, don't even.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it.
I'm tired of the squash matches with Almost, and it's just ridiculous. Like somebody said that he needs to go back to NXT, and I think he needs to because I think he's an awful wrestler. He's just like he doesn't wrestle. He just comes in there and just throws people around, and that's it. I mean, that's not wrestling.
Well,
and
and you have to realize this is a guy who's used to playing basketball, not really so much wrestling. The thing with guys like Omos, you have to kind of book him like Andre the Giant. He's more of an attraction than he is of an in-ring performer, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
But can I say something about NXT that I forgot that I was going to say, and I just it went out of my head?
Oh, go for it.
I really enjoyed that NXT did the 3 women's matches, that they gave more love to the women on NXT, and I really enjoyed that. They got to have the 3 matches, and I thought that was a good thing.
Yeah, and I kind of hope at some point, now that we got Saraya over at AEW, maybe take a note to say, hey, if we expose these ladies a little more, get them some more airtime and everything, the women's division might get a little bit better for AEW.
Yeah, she did say she was the revolution, that she was going to make a change, but which we haven't got to that second. So.
Well, and this is only her second week in, and I know there's been a little bit of negativity out there in the IWC about that. It's only
Isn't there always?
Yeah, but it's only her second week, for crying out loud. She hasn't been on TV much in the last few years, so yeah, she's going to be a little nervous. It kind of reminded me of her main roster debut against AJ Lee, You just gotta give her some time to get back into things. There will be a little bit of rust when you're gone for so long, And if you don't give her time to kind of get back into the groove, you're not giving her a fair shot to make things better. And I hope that's the whole reason Tony Khan signed her, was to get that division sparked up. If it is, that was the right move by Tony Khan.
I really think it was the right move, because I think she did pretty good for just coming back, and her promo and everything that she did, I thought it was awesome. And you, in the wrestling community, you cannot please them for anything. They have something negative to say about everything. So basically, screw what they say. I think she did a pretty good job.
My feelings exactly. I don't really I try not to take IWC too heartedly, mainly because, like I said, everyone's got their own opinions, and that's what we're here to express on this podcast. I do think, though, for AEW, and I'm sorry, we're talking about AEW in the WWE segment, but I really hope at some point Tony Khan will really just make a commissioner role for AEW. I think Saraya would be the person for that job.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, where'd we leave off before we went off track?
We should be moving on to the Nikki ASH versus Candice LeRae.
Oh, yeah. Candice LeRae coming back, making her in-ring return. She looked awful good, didn't she?
She did. The only thing that I had with this match is how quick it was. I don't think that was fair to Nikki Cross, as I'm going to call her as well.
Well, to be fair, though, it was Candice LeRae's first match back on TV.
Right,
so.
and that's the only reason that I would accept it.
Yeah.
She did look good for after, having a child and being off that long. She came back and she did good.
How did you feel about that, Heather?
Yeah, I liked it. It was a nice surprise that she came back. Of course, they kept it secret like they did when Johnny came back, and then for her to pick up the win. And then you noted at the end of the match how Nikki took the mask off. So that's why I'm so thankful that hopefully she is getting rid of the whole ASH gimmick, because I did not like it. It was okay at first, but I think it went on far too long. So hopefully, like y'all saying, Nikki Cross is coming back.
I hope so, because it would definitely make for better TV for sure.
Yes, it would.
Man, Sami Zayn getting his just due in a way, I guess, getting that victory over AJ Styles, but that was a lot thanks to a lot of help from Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, so on my notes I put good display for Sammy, which it was, but ultimately it was a solo win.
Yeah, and do you feel this is kind of more of a, we're just kind of keeping Sammy out of the loop, but making him feel like he's a part of the family even though he isn't?
The only other thing it could be is, trying to start up a storyline between Zayn and AJ, which I don't see that being it.
Yeah. Heather, do you have any comments, or do I dare ask?
You know how I feel. It's always going to be the bloodline. It's always going to be someone interfering, and they're just keeping Sammy around just for right now. Just trying to make him feel relevant until I'm hoping that he's going to come to his senses and he's going to team with KO again. And I'm hoping that he's going to take the belts. They're going to take the belts off the Usos. That is what I hope is going to happen.
Yeah, I kind of hope that does happen for sure. Let's go right into NXT 2.0. Whoops. I tapped my microphone.
You missed a match there.
What, Riddle and Damian Priest?
Yeah.
I don't have much for that. Do you want to say something on it?
Not really.
So you made me stop for that.
Absolutely.
You butthead. Anyways. Siblings, I tell you. That offer's still on the table if you want a brother.
No, I got two, and I don't really like them too much. So.
Okay, fine. Be that way.
Yeah, but I cook, clean, and have my own money, so.
Oh, see, there you go.
I'll trade you. John, you can have one of mine. I'll take him.
Oh no, I don't need a trade. You can just take him.
Okay, well then I'll take him.
Sweet. All right. Pack your bags. You're heading to Alabama, bitch.
No, I'm gonna have to pack an entire truck. So.
Oh.
Okay, moving on. NXT 2.0.
Well, now you want to move on. I see how you are. Anyways, no, let's go ahead and break down NXT 2.0. Very interesting start of the segment. We have Braun Breaker that pretty much does the Steiner math. All kidding aside. Looks like we're going to have a triple threat match for the NXT Championship at, what was it, Halloween Havoc?
Yes.
Yeah, for the NXT Championship, Braun Breaker's going to defend that title against JD McDonough and Ilya Dragunov. And that's going to be an interesting one because Dragunov never really lost his NXT UK Championship.
No, he didn't.
And JD McDonough already has had a championship attempt against Braun Breaker and was not successful, but very interesting they decided to put him in the mix again. So we're going to, I don't know, I think we're going to see Braun still retain that one at Halloween Havoc. But you couldn't go wrong with any of the three guys, really. Mandy Rose, Fallon Henley, I didn't really have a whole lot on that other than,
It was a solid, okay match, but
Yeah.
It was once again a Mandy Rose dominance thing.
Yeah, I mean, you got Mandy Rose taking on Fallon Henley, who's still somewhat fairly new, I guess you can say, even though she's been there a while. But I think Fallon Henley, with a little more time in NXT, she's going to end up being a good talent. Wesley, Tony D'Angelo, that one
Started off a great match, but the terrible ending, it just...
I don't know if I buy the injury.
I don't either.
Because they replayed it so many times where he landed on his knee It didn't really look like anything out of the unusual, but again, I'm no doctor and
If
not an
it's
expert in the ring.
if it's not real, then they did an extremely good job of keeping it from being obvious. Because typically, when we see it be a fake injury, you'll see them continue to go back into the back and interview him and interview him and interview him, check on their status. They didn't do that on this program.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. He sold it pretty well.
Yeah.
At first, I almost thought it was going to be something concussion because the way he hit the turnbuckle with his face, but he actually hit it in the right spot. So if he is injured, we're hoping for a speedy recovery on Tony D. You don't ever want to see any talent really injured because, one, that's their way of living, and two, that's what they enjoy to do. So, how impressed were you with Sol Ruka?
She needs work. She's not bad. She's definitely athletic. She's one of the things I noticed about her that she's probably going to have to work on is she's slow getting up off the mat whenever she performs a move.
Yeah. How'd you feel about her debut, Heather?
I thought it was pretty impressive, just for a debut. Like the way she was a little bit slow getting up, but just like her athletic ability and stuff, I thought it was a pretty impressive debut.
Yeah. I don't really have a whole lot of history knowledge on her. I haven't had time to look her up. But Ari Miller, I probably would say, wasn't really a bad setup to help her get over. But like you mentioned, Heather, it was nice to see the women get a little more time. They may have not been the greatest matches, but it's nice to see the women get showcased a little better here. Going on to match 4, Joe Gacy, Cameron Grimes. We're still watching that saga go through. I don't really see Cameron Grimes joining Schism, do you?
No.
Heather?
No.
All right, end of that one. Screw it. Nikita Lyons defeating Caden Carter. Now, that was definitely
Great match.
a great match.
Yeah.
I think
Killer finish. They both did extremely well.
Yeah, with Caden being definitely the veteran of the two for sure, she did a great job selling for Nikita out there. But I'm not so convinced that we'll see Nikita and Stark end up winning the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. You either?
No, I see them actually doing far better off just,
staying single stars.
Yeah, going single.
I would think you would want to do that with Nikita. I mean, I think she's definitely got a chance to be a future NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah, and I think Zoe Starks can pretty much do it all no matter what.
I think a few more months, Zoe Stark will be ready to go on SmackDown or Raw.
Yeah.
And what's your thoughts with that, Heather?
I enjoyed the match with Nikita and Caden. Is that her name?
Yeah, Caden Carter.
Yeah, I enjoyed the match, and of course, Nikita picked up the win, and I always enjoy the way she does her pin because she blew up Twitter when she first came on and did that pin. Everybody went bonkers with that, but yeah, I enjoyed that match. I thought they both did really good. But I don't think that her and the other. Forgive me, I'm bad at names. Zoe Starks, is that it?
Yes.
I don't think they will be good as tag champions.
Yeah, I mean, both women really haven't had any kind of team chemistry. They were supposed to be in that WWE Women's Tag Team Championship tournament and ended up getting replaced by Toxic Attraction. So I think that was actually a smart move by WWE. However, the frustrating part was watching Toxic Attraction actually win that match just to find out they got injured, and then they end up giving it to Natalya and Sonya still, which there was nothing wrong with that, but they should have not even bothered with the fatal four-way tag match for that tournament. So
Yeah, I thought that was stupid. I
Yeah.
thought that was really stupid.
it was definitely not the best booking decisions for sure. We're going to go ahead and move on to Ilya Dragunov defeating Zion Quinn. Poor Zion Quinn, man. I tell you, this guy, he's kind of getting like kicked in the nuts in my general feeling. How about you?
Oh yeah, he could definitely go further. I still thought the match was awesome. It was definitely brutal. Good showing for both guys. Just like you said, Zion is not getting the love that he should be getting.
Yeah, I mean, a guy who, as good as he is in the ring, he's over with the fans, whether he's kind of like a heel or a face or even a tweener. I just don't get why they're dumping on him so much lately. I hope that will change here shortly. Kind of almost similar to how Shawn Spears was when he was with WWE as Ty Dillinger. They got so much good in this guy, but they're not using him wisely. Moving on to Brutus Creed getting the disqualification victory over Damon Kemp. I think I accidentally missed that match when I was announcing results.
You did, but I mean, it was quick enough, and what I wrote down for it was that might have been a DQ.
No, that was a DQ.
No, it's a joke.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, Damon Kemp, who was the mastermind trying to destroy Diamond Mine faction, the DQ finish made sense. But I was a little disappointed in not seeing Julius or even Roderick Strong come back and come out to help aid Brutus in that attack. It was just... But it does make Damon Kemp kind of look a little stronger, like he's definitely got his grudge against the entire faction. It'll be interesting to see what they do between Julius Creed and Damon Kemp when the match comes. And I'm pretty sure that will take place at Halloween Havoc as well. Then the main event, which was definitely one of the most entertaining ones I've seen in quite some time in the Pub Rules match. Josh Briggs and Brooke Jensen get the victory over Gallus. It was nothing short of brawling for sure, right?
Yeah, it was definitely purely physical match. I liked every second of it. I just didn't really... It didn't really have anything special for me.
Really?
Really. Not even the glasses smashed on the head. Just.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Maybe I'm weird.
Yeah, for me, I actually enjoyed the match. I thought it was done pretty well, despite the fact that they used empty glasses. The only thing that would have been better is if they had him drink the beer that was sitting there on the ramp.
Oh, we're going back to Stone Cold now, are we?
Well, yeah, man. I mean, what's wrong with having a beer in the middle of a match? Nothing can go wrong, right?
It depends.
Well, okay, Heather, would you drink a beer in the middle of a match?
Oh, well, hell yeah.
Well, see, there you go.
Yeah, but a lightweight might not feel the same.
Oh, Lordy, here we go. But no, I NXT overall solid show. Going into SmackDown, they pretty much did their usual 5 matches. We'll start off Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa getting the victory over Ricochet and Madcap Moss. We saw the week before when SmackDown was here in Salt Lake City, there was that backstage segment where Ricochet and Madcap Moss were mocking Sami Zayn, trying to open his eyes up to kind of make him realize the Bloodline's trying to make a joke out of him. And Sammy not buying it all, of course, sets it up to where Sola attacks him, and that's what set up the match for this episode of SmackDown, and it looked like they worked really well together. But who knows how much longer this will continue, because, like I said, I still see them reuniting Owens and Zayn together, and maybe they'll take those titles off the Usos, not to keep going in circles with that little storyline, but that's how I see it going. The Drew McIntyre Austin Theory, that was a little weird setup. But of course, when you see Kevin Owens, Gargano trying to help even the odds, you get the classic, we're going to have the 6-man tag match, which we saw at the end. Ronda Rousey defeating Natalya. Very good competitive match, but with Liv Morgan coming out to try to show that she doesn't fear Ronda Rousey. I think Ronda definitely got the better of her on that one, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. I think they might be trying to oversell with finding her aggression at this point. I would save that to be a stunner for the actual event.
Yeah, for Extreme Rules?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Whoops.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my bad. No, I don't know. I kind of agree with you. I think they're kind of making it look a little too cheesy with Liv being fairly aggressive. The ball bat just... I have to say the ball bat was a star after watching Ronda knock it out of Liv's hands, and the ball bat somehow...
The gravity-defying bat.
Yeah, it lands right there in the ring. I'm like, oh, that was not good.
Yeah.
And then we have Bayley getting the victory over Shotzi, but really Shotzi looked good this match.
Yeah, but I'm still disappointed in what they're doing with Shotzi.
The one thing I am proud of, they brought back the helmet and the tank.
Yes, yeah, that was enjoyable to watch. I wish she would have popped off a shot, direct with Bayley, but
well, they would have to probably throw Nerf bullets or something in there because it's a family show now. You gotta be careful.
Well, yeah, they almost got Tamina with it.
That's true. Then the main event: Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Johnny Gargano defeating Theory, Alpha Academy. I don't have anything much on it. Just
okay.
It seemed like it was more of a filler deal.
Did you want to take a step back to that other squash match, or just leave it?
No, just leave it.
Okay.
I'm done with talking squash matches lately. They're kind of getting old.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. But Heather, did you have anything as far as the whole SmackDown segment?
No, I was happy that Shotzi finally got her tank back. I thought that was good. And I am just glad to see her back, period. And, of course, like I said, I liked the main event. I really enjoyed the main event. Natalya and Ronda, but yeah, it was pretty good once I watched it again. But the whole show wasn't that good, but it was better. It was better the second time that I watched it, but the first time I was just too tired and could not really get into it. But it was good, but not the real good. If you catch what I'm saying.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it.
Yeah.
It's,
it was good, but I'm just like, it wasn't just like so like, oh, I'm so excited, this was the best show ever, but it was good. Just yeah.
All right. With that being said, that's going to wrap it up for our WWE segment. I see we got one of our usual listeners, Carlos. I'm going to invite him to speak if he wants to throw in.
Can you hear me? No?
Yeah,
no?
We got you, Carlos.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing today, boss?
Good. So, honestly, I think it's funny, like, everyone's different. I thought SmackDown was their best show of the week, so I think it's funny that, but at the same time, like, I got to give a real prelude, like, I was watching Cobra Kai all week, so I think, like, through, like, all these different shows, I was trying to, like, hurry up and watch Cobra Kai, and then I finished it on Friday, so I think I could actually enjoy SmackDown more, but I thought SmackDown was a good show. I like the pacing of it. I feel like with Raw and kind of a holding pattern because NXT was taped and even like they're using like they're still using the old logos and belts and everything. And so like for me, it felt like it's just kind of in a holding pattern until they go back to being live this week. And especially with Raw, I think with now the NFL on, I think it's like I feel like the show's in a holding pattern too. The long matches are cool, but at the same time I'm kind of like, okay, like for me, I want to see like T-Bar and I want to see other guys who aren't being utilized, all those guys, they just aren't being Muhammad. I want to see all these guys that aren't being, utilized on TV. I want to see them on Raw. I'd rather see some shorter matches and see these other talents that aren't being utilized yet. That's just my own perspective. So for me, I really liked SmackDown. I thought SmackDown was a really good show. I thought it was the best show of the week for WWE.
Welcome back. We're now going to go right over the AEW's programming for the week. Over on Dynamite, we have Bryan Danielson defeating Matt Menard. Quit laughing at me. Jon Moxley defeating Juice Robinson in the championship eliminators match. I don't know why they even bother calling that anymore. Just call it a opportunity for the championship or something. But and then we go into match number 3. Toni Storm defeats and retains the AEW Women's Championship against Serena Deeb. Ricky Starks gets an easy victory over Eli Isom, and Chris Jericho retains the Ring of Honor World Championship against Bandito. This was kind of a not so packed card.
No, I personally think they spent just a little too much time on the promos.
Yeah, I think the Jericho Appreciation Society promo was actually not too bad.
No.
But the rest of them aren't even memorable.
No.
I didn't even bother writing them down, the bad part. But we definitely see the way Daniel Garcia is being treated by Chris Jericho as of late. I think we're eventually going to see Daniel Garcia break on his own. Whether he's going to go total lone wolf or join the Blackpool Combat Club. You can't go wrong either way with this guy. I think him getting a clean victory over Wheeler Yuta for that Ring of Honor Pure Championship definitely elevated his career.
Yeah, I'm just glad they're finally doing something with him, because we talked about it for a while.
Yeah. I mean, for a while he was a talent, just wasn't getting any kind of, I can't really say push, but he just wasn't getting booked right. I guess you can go in that the way I said that. How'd you feel about that segment, Heather?
I liked it because he came out there and he told Jericho that he had enough, and Jericho told him, think before you speak. Your next words, you need to really think about. And then, he threw the pizza on the ground and stuff. And then he's like, I think it'd be really entertaining if I teamed up with Bryan Danielson to go against Jericho and Sammy. And, I thought that would be an interesting match right there. And it's just like, I'm hoping that, he is going to break out. And if he doesn't join the Blackpool Combat Club, that he does get a push and does go on, because he is a really good wrestler and not a sports entertainer.
Now, the only thing I'm going to say is, do we possibly see Tony Khan unifying the titles between the Ring of Honor Pure and World Championship?
The Ring of Honor, possibly, the way everybody likes to unify titles.
Well, the only thing is you got Daniel Garcia holding the one championship, which is actually held under different guidelines. And then you got Chris Jericho with the type prize of Ring of Honor. I kind of see it being a slow build to where it will be Daniel Garcia takes on Jericho and possibly wins the championship, unless they go in the direction where maybe they'll have Claudio come back and regain that. You can go in any direction with that championship. The only thing I don't like what they're doing so far is having that championship defended so much on AEW. To me, that needs to be a championship defended more with Ring of Honor, more than anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. It needs to be defended more on Ring of Honor. And I don't like Jericho having the title, because he did not win it honorably, and which, that's what he said. He was going to destroy the whole of Ring of Honor. So, that's the whole thing right there.
Well, and I think that's where we see Daniel Garcia come into play, is realizing Jericho's still doing all this cheating and nonsense to win all these matches, but who knows? Daniel Garcia might be the savior for Ring of Honor and might end up being the face for Tony Khan's secondary promotion.
I think that would be a really good thing right there with Daniel Garcia.
Now, if we can just get Tony Khan to get a good TV deal or some kind of I guess you can say knockoff network like WWE had until he sold it to Peacock, which sucks. But although I do have to say TV production's been better on the Peacock network for sure. Uh, but yeah, I think Tony Khan, it's time for him to hopefully get Ring of Honor on its feet and getting more exposed, because using AEW for that platform I don't think is ideal right now. I think we just need to get it going on its own, get it more recognized as its own company. I mean, obviously everybody knows Tony Khan, the owner of AEW, owns Ring of Honor. Now let's just get Ring of Honor going on its own feet.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Going into match number 2, your man, Heather, Jon Moxley, defeats Juice Robinson in what was considered the World Championship Contender Eliminator match. I thought Juice Robinson looked really good coming in, and it was noted during that match from the commentators that Juice Robinson's a free agent, so who knows? That could be a possible signing for Ring of Honor or AEW, or even Impact or NWA, wherever he chooses to land. What do you think?
This match I really actually enjoyed. I found the clash of style to be really interesting. I've never seen Juice actually wrestle until now. And one of the notable things that I like about him is he's just so adaptable.
Yeah, I've watched him a few times in Ring of Honor. I wish I got a chance to watch some of the footage from his New Japan moments. Unfortunately, because, New Japan kept having, I guess, not really having any TV contracts here in the United States other than Access, which shows a lot of old footage, probably like 6 months or longer. You didn't really see much of Juice Robinson unless you caught him at the right time when Ring of Honor was on the local TV stations here. How'd you feel, Heather, since your man won?
I liked the match. I thought it was a good back and forth. I've never watched Juice Robinson wrestle before. But of course, I was happy that Jon Moxley won. What can I say? That's my man.
I'm starting to sense a little bias there.
I'm sorry, I can't help it. I love him.
Yeah, it's all good.
But yeah, it was a good match. I really liked it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw, they posted a 10 years ago picture of the Shield debuting on the main roster in WWE. Looking at how much hair Moxley had as Dean Ambrose, I'm like, whoa, that almost kind of looks like a totally different guy there.
Yeah, he had a lot of hair when he was in the Shield.
And you see the difference in Seth Rollins today compared to back then. Roman looks pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your favorite there.
I couldn't stand him. I couldn't stand the Shield when they first came out, and then they turned around, and then I liked them, and then Seth did his whole turnaround thing. But yeah, and then like I said, I liked Roman to begin with, and then now.
And there's Heather's segment of her love for the bloodline this week. All right, we're going to go right into, I guess, another squash match. Ricky Starks over Eli Isom. I'm not... Did I miss something?
You
did.
Yeah,
Tony Storm. I'm sorry. Let's go into the AEW Interim Women's Championship. I really wish they would just announce it as the AEW Women's Championship now.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, unless Thunder Rosa decides to come back. But, Tony Storm manages to retain the championship against Serena Deeb, which was actually a pretty great competitive match.
I thought it was an amazing match. I actually labeled it as a new classic.
Yeah. And having the Lumberjills, I guess now you can say Lumberjacks, as Saraya kind of gave the okay now. But, it was a great match. I loved watching Willow Nightingale chase Jamie Hayter to the back. But yeah, other than that, it was pretty much a clean match all around, really.
Yep.
Despite not really the Lumberjills having much involvement, there was some, but not much, that really determined the outcome of that whole thing. But yeah, then going into Ricky Starks now, defeating Eli Isom. That was what, 2-minute match?
Yeah, I don't even have anything to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not quite sure Eli Isom is TV ready yet. But yeah, Ricky Starks looked good.
It's just weird.
I just think it would have been better to have a better competitive talent in there with Ricky Starks for that night.
Yeah, it's weird to go from Will Hobbs to that.
Yeah. And then, the main event, Chris Jericho defeating Bandito, which was a good match. Bandito definitely showed that why he was the last Ring of Honor champion in a technical sense. He lost it just not because of a match, but he wasn't able to defend it against Jonathan Gresham at the very last pay-per-view before Tony Khan. Well, actually, no. Tony Khan actually bought him just before that pay-per-view, but Bandito, due to COVID regulations, could not defend it. And that was a bummer, but it was nice to see him get a match to have a chance to reclaim it. But he came up short. Yeah, it was awesome. It was great to see him back. I hope he ends up landing a contract with either AEW or Ring of Honor. Hell, even Impact might have some good use for him. What'd you think, Heather?
I like that match. Of course, I didn't like the way Jericho did with the whole mask thing and all that. Of course, Jericho is being a real jerk right now. But yeah, and the squash match thing, that's it. But they did mention that I heard there was a lot of filler for Dynamite because of the storm going on in Florida. That's why it was like a lot of filler and stuff for the night with the promos and backstage and all that stuff. So they really they were working with what they could work with because of the hurricane going on in Florida, is what I heard.
And that makes sense for sure. I can understand that. It was just, it kind of felt like the card could have had a little more oomph to it. I mean, I'm not saying any of the matches were bad other than, the squash match for Ricky Starks. But,
yeah. The women's match, that was a good match to me. I really liked that match. Toni Storm looked good. Serena Deeb looked good. But I'm biased to Toni Storm. I liked her in WWE, but she was not being used right. The whole crap with Charlotte Flair and everything, her being made to look like a fool with Charlotte Flair. I was glad when she got to go to AEW, and I'm enjoying what they're doing with her in AEW. And the interim championship, that crap needs to go. Either you're a champion or you're not. That's one of the things I can't stand about Tony Khan.
Right. No, that's understandable. All right, let's go.
Yeah, that's my take.
All right. Well, let's get right into Rampage, the 1-hour program. The Acclaimed retained their AEW World Tag Team Championships against Private Party and The Butcher and the Blade. Lee Moriarty in a victory over Fuego del Sol. Jimmy Hayter gets a victory over Willow Nightingale, and Roosh defeats Dark Order's John Silver. And the Acclaimed got their just due with a very successful first defense on the AEW World Tag Team Championships. The only thing I didn't really like was a promo later on in the show where I guess Keith Lee called him out, saying, you guys need to thank Billy Gunn for his involvement in helping them win. But the thing that's funny that I think they should have thrown him out was they should have had the Acclaim say, well, how about your boy Swerve there trying to use the boombox to hit one of us in the head, try to take us out during that match. That's probably something I would have pointed out if I were them. Say, it's kind of like an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth deal there. Lee Moriarty, it's nice to see him get booked to be over. I would, however, like to see him with a little more serious competitors because as much as we like Fuego del Sol, it's kind of hard to say he's going to really defeat a talent that looks much bigger than him. But almost at this point, any talent looks bigger than Fuego del Sol. I'm sorry, Heather, you're going to kill me. But, you know,
I think Fuego's been getting a raw deal for real. Like he's good. I've seen improvement in him, but like he's been putting in the work because like of course I follow him on Twitter, and he needs to follow me back. I'm just saying because we're both from Alabama, but that's another story. But anyway, I've been seeing some improvement in him, but he's just been getting a raw deal because he's been going up against bigger people, and I think they need to work with him and build him more before they put him in with the more experienced people, in my opinion. But I have seen some improvement in him.
Yeah, there's been a lot of improvement. The one thing I will say, I think AEW is lacking. I don't necessarily like the All Atlantic Championship. It's a good looking title. Don't get me wrong. I think they should have went more in the direction of having a cruiserweight division, one that WWE hasn't really been successful in keeping around. They've done it twice now, and it hasn't really worked out very well for them. But I think AEW has a better fit to have that cruiserweight division, having a lot of these smaller guys. I mean, you look at guys like Orange Cassidy, Pac, Fuego del Sol, Sammy Guevara, these guys that are under the 205 mark, and there's quite a few of them, believe it or not. I think if we were to go that direction, Fuego del Sol could definitely light it up as one of the top guys in the cruiserweights.
Yeah, I really could see that happening. That would really be a good thing right there because there are some smaller guys that really can go. And Fuego is one of them. I could see him as a champion in that division.
For sure. We go on to match number 3, Jamie Hayter defeating Willow Nightingale. And that one could have went either way, but I think the momentum with having Jamie Hayter win, I think they really need to have her kind of go more toward either taking the championship either away from Storm or from Jade Cargill. And I'm actually going to bring up a tweet that I saw that I really liked. Let me pull it up here. My apologies. I should have been a little more on the ball with this one. Sorry, folks. That's going to be a lot of dead air, my bad. Come on. I have too many pictures on this phone. Quit making fun of me. All right. Sorry. Took me a minute. So there was a tweet that was pitched out by Jay Henry. You can follow him on Twitter at JayHenry79. His tweet basically says, since we don't have Chris Statlander, Tony Khan should consider having Jamie Hayter be the one to dethrone Jade Cargill if the plan is for Storm to hold that title for a while. Like the claim, she's over like Rover, and Tony Khan needs to strike while the iron is hot. And I totally agree with that. I mean, you almost had Hayter win the championship when they had the interim Fatal 4-Way. But I almost kind of want to say maybe we need to kind of steal an idea from Impact on this one, where you could make Hayter take the TBS championship, but not necessarily need to defeat Jade. Maybe what they could do is have kind of like an option. I think it was option C that Austin Aries made on there, where basically the X Division champion can turn in his championship for a shot at the top prize, and that could be a possibility I mean, if you keep having Jade keep her undefeated streak going on with that TBS championship, that might be a good idea down the road. She can cash in and trade in her TBS championship for an opportunity for the AEW Women's World Championship. What would you think of that idea?
You talking to me?
Either one of you.
Yeah.
I don't care. Will, you go first.
I don't know. I'm kind of the opposite on that. I just want to see somebody just dethrone her flat out.
You'd rather just see them earn it the hard way?
Yep.
Heather?
I'm ready for somebody to dethrone Jade Cargill. And now that you said that, I think Jamie Hayter probably would be better. I was wanting Athena, but Jamie Hayter has been in there longer, and I think she's earned her dues. I think she maybe would be a better candidate for dethroning Jade Cargill.
Well, not to mention, Jamie Hayter's been wrestling a lot longer than Jade Cargill, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense, but I don't know if I don't know, unless we're going to turn Jamie Hayter face, then yeah, I think it would make sense to have her go and dethrone Jade.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
But, I mean, if they're going to plan on keeping Jamie Hayter as a heel, I don't know. You can really not make either talent look really bad. I mean, if Jade Cargill loses to Jamie Hayter, again, like I said, you can't make Jade Cargill look bad on that. But if she keeps,
I don't think Jade Cargill
that,
would ever look bad.
no. But if you keep that streak going, you got to figure some way to get that championship off of her. And I think it's almost about time that they find somebody that actually dethrones her. And it's almost getting to the point where you're going to have women that she's already faced before re-challenge her. They did it with Anna Jay already. But
it's getting kind of boring to me. I mean, she's 38 now.
She's 38 and
Yeah. It's getting kind of boring to me. I mean, no offense to Jade Cargill. She's a beast. She wrestles good. But like we talked before, her matches do need to go longer. I mean, because she'll be in there, they'll be going, everything's good. And then next thing you know, boom, it's over with. I think she needs more time in her matches.
For sure. And in the final match, I'm not going to go much into it because I think everybody saw the outcome before it even started. Roosh defeats Dark Order's John Silver. John Silver is still a good talent, but he's just wrestling too many missed match opponents, I guess you can say. He's another guy that I would say would fit well in the Cruiserweight division if they were to ever build one.
Yeah. He'd be an absolute beast in it. You can't really top his athletic ability considering his size. His strength is off the charts. And one of the most important things that we watch wrestlers do is watch them have fun in the ring, and he does that.
Yeah, he has a lot of good comedic moments similar to Orange Cassidy. They've got their different ways of keeping the fans entertained, and I don't know what else to say on that.
Not really much to say.
Heather, do you have anything for that?
No, not really.
All right. Well, that's going to kind of do our takes on the whole AEW segment. I'm going to invite another long-time listener here, too. Hey, Carlos, if you've got your mic going, you want to go ahead and give us your take on AEW this week?
Yeah, so my thing is like what you're talking about, like with everything else, is like I'm going to see Tony Khan pivot. I think like when he did with the Acclaim and everything else, like according to Jay's thing, I think it's time to pivot and make Hater a face. Get away from Britt Baker, and then that's my biggest thing. There's a lot of pressure on Tony Khan in my eyes right now too. Especially with the elite being gone, like he needs to pivot. I want to see Garcia turn face. Just all these things are going on. With Ring of Honor, he needs to either get the TV deal or go away because it's feeling very WCW, WWE to me when WCW came over. And And, it's like he does. It's the lesser brand, and it obviously is. Like, look at how he had Ricky Stark beat Isom. Isom was main eventing Ring of Honor shows when it was syndicated, and now he's a jobber to Ricky Stark. Like that just bothers me. It's like he's not. At the end of the day, he's not going to let Ring of Honor be superior to the AEW line because that's his line. So it's like he either needs to just make it 2 separate shows or be done with it. And I get that he's waiting for a TV deal because that's what he's really in this for, is to make money off the TV rights. But he needs to either make a Ring of Honor YouTube show and show what it can be, and hopefully your network picks it up, or just move on to it, because it's just, to me, it's just disheartening. And to me, like, the show did feel very kind of filler, but at the same time, when I see talents like Ricky Stark, well, not Ricky Stark, but I see Ethan Page did a backstage segment, FTR did a backstage segment, put them on TV, like, give us 2 women's matches instead of just 1. That's another thing too. It's like, he needs to do better with the women's division. He missed the opportunity for Ruby Soho. Again, that's for somewhere he should have pulled the trigger and put the belt on her, back in the day. And for me, like, I would have loved to see 2 women's matches on Dynamite instead of that awful segment, and then just the one women's title matches. I would have loved to see two women's segments there, because, again, there's a lot of talent there. There's Nyla Roses that weren't utilized. Nyla Rose should have been out there. She's a former women's champion. And to me, too, it's like, again, he doesn't want to admit that AEW women's title, TBS title is lesser, but it is. So to me, I like your idea, but I think Jay should become the AEW champion, and then have a tournament for the TBS title, and let Jamie Hayter beat Britt Baker in the finals for that, And then I think, what was the other point you made? I think that I like the idea of a light heavyweight title too, but for me, I think it would just. I think the thing about that Tony Khan fears is that it would put a lot of people like Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, even Bryan Danielson, who are all main event talents. I think it might pigeonhole them into being cruiserweights only if they were to do that, because they are under the weight limit. So I think that's Tony Khan's fear of doing a light heavyweight title would be you're pigeonholing a lot of your talent that is small. Even like a Sammy Guevara, could easily go into that division. And then you're kind of negating, giving it a spotlight for the other talent that you would be trying to do right now. And as far as John Silver goes, that guy, in my eyes, should be the trios champ right now. That should have been a title used to elevate them, or either best friends. So again, it was entertaining. Again, anytime Moxley or the Acclaimed are on TV, I'm going to be entertaining Ricky Starks. But at the same time, both shows could have been a lot better.
Right, and like what Heather mentioned earlier, with Florida going through the hurricanes they are right now, I mean, I kind of understand that, why the matches weren't as, or not the matches, but the cards were not as great. But they were solid. I will give them that. Yeah.
But same time, when I see guys like Ethan Page is there just doing a backstage segment, same as Andrade, same as FTR, put those guys in a match. I get they were limited, but they had a lot of talent there. They could have put on a lot better card too.
Oh,
again, 50-50, yeah.
No, I totally agree.
And like I said, 2 women's matches. I feel like he follows a pattern where it's like, okay, because he has so much guys on the card, so much male roster talent. Okay, I can only do 1 woman match on Rampage and 1 woman match on Dynamite, and that's one big complaint about the fan base. They want to see a better thing for the women's division. Well, this week would have been the perfect opportunity to let the women shine more, but he didn't do it.
Right. And I'm going to save that for the next episode that we're going to record here shortly after this one.
Sure.
And anybody who wants to stick around for that one, you're more than welcome to. We're probably not going to have enough people do and ask us anything, but enough to just do more general wrestling talk.
Yeah.
Jason, did you want to say anything in there? If you do, send me a heart or a laughing emoji, something. He might be busy watching the NFL game too, so that's the hardest part with the spaces right now with the NFL season going. Oh, actually, I'm going to actually read a comment from Jason. Just joined in. Congrats to, I hope I pronounce this right, Rika Tehaka, an AEW Dark regular getting a WWE developmental deal. Welcome to the main roster, Candice LeRae. Nice to see Tony Khan getting the ship in order after all out debacle. And I agree. I think we definitely seen a much different working atmosphere from the talent since that whole drama from the all out pay-per-view. I'm just a little still disturbed on how some of that went down. I think there was suspensions given that weren't deserving, but again, we're going to save that for the next episode for episode 28 recording for the week. Oh, actually, there's Jason right there. Hey, Jason, you want to throw in your comments?
No, I was just going to piggyback just what I left on the comment. Yeah, AEW, it seems to be a little bit more consistent. The shows haven't been perfect, but they have been a lot better since the All Out debacle. And I think I like seeing some of the AEW regulars. They're starting to get a little bit more focused on the AEW regulars and some of fresh faces like a Daniel Garcia and a Wheeler Yuta. That was kind of nice to see that. And MJF being back has really, really been a big boost for AEW. I mean, the shows have really improved since he's been back. And that just shows you not only what an asset MJF is for AEW, but when you put the focus on the talent that we actually care about, it shows. It really does show on the program. And I would piggyback and saying that's what you're seeing on WWE since Triple H is taking over. He's putting the focus on people that we want to watch. And those shows have been better. And this kind of what I've been watching for the past few weeks from WWE TV and from AEW TV is the kind of things that we expected from both Triple H and Tony Khan. So it's been a great few weeks of wrestling. And like I said, I'll look forward to more of it. But just back on AEW, they have been a lot better since then. And just hope we see more. And I agree with Ring of Honor. They can use the dark shows, not both, but one of them. We don't really need elevation. We really don't need that. They can use that for the Ring of Honor. And AEW dark can be the dark matches or the dark matches on Monday. And you can use the Tuesday for Ring of Honor. I mean, just as simple as that. Or vice versa. But we need to get the Ring of Honor, less Ring of Honor on AEW, so we can focus more on that. And shoot, if you can't get a TV deal, just use YouTube shows for time being. They'll come in there and watch it because Dark has an audience. And so you can't just sit there and say that you can't generate an audience for Ring of Honor on the YouTube shows while you're trying to get a TV deal. You know, and that's all I'm going to say for that for right now.
No, that's good input right there. And I think that should be something we discuss in the next episode here. Alright, this is our favorite part, given our top 10 wrestlers of the week. I'll go ahead and start off with Heather. Heather, who do you have as your number 10?
I put Nikita Lyons as number 10. I haven't really watched her wrestle before, and I thought she had a good, solid match.
Will?
Ilya Dragunov.
Ooh, we were close on that one together.
Mm-hmm.
I put Lee Moriarty as my 10th. I think if seeing him be a little more active on TV, we're going to see how great this guy can be. I just think if he did it on his own, it would be even better. Heather, number 9?
I put Tony Storm. I'm showing my women some love this top 10.
Nice. Will?
The Acclaimed.
And my number 9, Ilya Dragunov. See, that's how close you and I were this week.
Oh, it gets better.
All right. Number 8, Heather.
Bianca.
Will?
Jamie Hayter.
I put John Moxley, only because I felt like that match could have been a little better. It was a good match, but yeah, I think if it was more of a championship match and a little more time, it would have been there. Number 7?
I put Riddle.
Will?
You ready for this one?
Go for it.
Bandito.
That was a good choice. My number 7, I put Seth freaking Rollins. Heather, your number 6.
Ilya Dragunov? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You probably said it better than most of us here, because I suck with foreign names. I always admit that. Will?
Number what was it?
Number 6.
Oh, Nikita Lyons.
Oh. See, lots of love going to Nikita and Dragunov in this one. So, and my number 6 is the Acclaimed after retaining their AEW World Tag Team Championship. So, they're all getting some good love here. But who do you have as your halfway mark there, Heather?
I put Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah, we were pretty close there. Will?
Tony Storm.
Wow. And I didn't even have Tony Storm in my top 10, so
Kind of weird.
I should be ashamed of myself, I guess. There, Heather's promoting me as the expert, and I'm saying, nope, just the fanboy, and that proved it right there. But my number 5 I gave to Sami Zayn just because he's definitely getting a little more love from the Bloodline storyline-wise, but I think it's going to come back and haunt him. And Will's giving me the look like I have a feeling I know where number 4 is going. So, Heather, why don't you start off with number 4?
I put Bryan Danielson.
Good pick.
Yeah, Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, your number 4. I
Yep.
figured that look you gave me. So,
Yep.
and I gave this one a little more love just because I think she's going to rock it here shortly. My number 4 is Jamie Hayter. And let's go ahead and start off number 3.
I put KO, Drew, and Johnny Gargano, all 3 of them for number 3.
Oh, good selection. Will?
Jonathan Moxley.
Jonathan Moxley, huh?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Careful, Heather might beat you. That's your guy. Yeah, my number 3, the current Ring of Honor World Champion, Chris Jericho. I think he's making himself be the really aggressive heel like he was as the Lionheart in his WCW days. Number 2?
I put Moxley at number 2.
Oh, all right. That's weird. I figured he'd be your top.
I can't let him always be top. That's just too much bias.
Well, all right. Will, you're number 2?
Kevin Owens.
Wow. Kevin Owens is definitely within the tops there. My number 2, I gave it to the WWE Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair. And coming in at everyone's top dog, Heather.
I went ahead and put Bandito. I really thought he had a good match.
He did. I mean, he gave Jericho his all, and I'll tell you, there was a couple moments where it came very close to the ref hitting the 3 count to crown a new champion, but unfortunately he came short. Will?
For many, many, many reasons, Bryan Danielson is my number 1.
Well, yeah, that's a bummer because that's another one I didn't have in my top 10, so shame on me. But my number 1 I gave to Kevin Owens. He can't go wrong. Both Raw and SmackDown were in Canada, so of course he's going to be the fan favorite. But I think with him still showing his prize fighter character off, I think we're going to see great things come of Kevin Owens and hopefully be holding that either the undisputed WWE Universal Championship or one or the other, whether it be the Universal Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship. I think he's deserving of another run and hopefully not falling victim to yet another old-time legend coming to dethrone him for this. But that's it for our number 10 or our top 10 takes. Why don't we go ahead and I think Jason's a little more stressed for time. So Jason, do you have a top 10 you want to give to us?
Not for this week, but I do want to welcome back Shotzi Blackheart's tank.
Oh, hell yeah.
That was a good part of her character, and that it was good to see her come back to the ring in her tank.
Now we just need Rob Stone back on main roster and have her run his ass over.
Well, I mean, there's Sami Zayn. There's plenty of people if we don't get Robert Stone. There's plenty of people she can fire. She can fire a tank at.
Hell yeah.
There's Drew Gulak. There's R-Truth. There's the usual 24/7 crew. So, I'm just happy that she got her tank back because that was a huge part. The people don't understand the role that props play in characters. You know, you don't take that away from Shotzi Blackheart. You know, you really don't. That's the first thing they see. And, you know, hopefully we get a little bit more of that. That was also like, I don't want to call Scarlett a prop, but Scarlett was a huge part of Karrion Kross act. And now, since she's been added back to his character, you see how better he's been. So, that's one thing I wanted to add. But if there's anybody I wanted to give a shout out to from the three brands for the women, I would say for three women, outside of that, I would say Jamie Hayter had a very great week. She had a very good week. Paige had a rough one, but I kind of just chalked that up to her not being on TV for a long time, and I just tell people just to be patient, and we'll give Soraya a chance, to pick it back up to where we know it all, because she's going to be very special. If Tony Khan does the right thing, she's going to be very special for AEW TV. But for AEW, I give it for Bandito is not on the AEW roster, but I have to say that he was my MVP for the weekend. For the women, it was Jamie Hayter. For the WWE, I hate to be a mark because I'm a very big mark. It's going to be a tie between two of the five women I love the most, and that's Candice LeRae. She looked real good. It was great to see her back. And, of course, Bayley. She has really been there's been some complaints about Bayley. I don't see it. Bayley has been nothing but a plus since she's been back. And for the guys, I'm just going to go a little bit different and talk about how impressed I've been with Solo Sikoa since he's been on the main roster. He's been a fresh addition to the bloodline, so I'll give it to him. And then I'll end it by saying the moment I love what they're doing with Sami Zayn in this bloodline storyline. The minute they turn on him, you're going to see one of the biggest babyface runs that you've probably ever seen. I'm not going to say it's going to come close to what Daniel Bryan's babyface run, but we're going to have that kind of level of babyface heat or response for Sami Zayn when the bloodline turns on him. And I'll just end it right there.
All right, some good takes there. Thank you, Jason, for contributing to that. Carlos, did you have a top 10 for the week?
Yeah, so my top 10 is based on in-ring and also just, segments. So at number 10, I had Candice LeRae. At number 9, I had Ricky Starks. At number 8, I had Wheeler Yuta. I think he did a really good job of standing his own ground with MJF. And for all the flack that he gets. Number 7 was Dragunov for me. Number 6 is Jamie Hayter. Number 5, I gave it to Bray Wyatt. Again, I think we all know what the tease is going to be, and I just think it's going to be an epic return when he comes back. And I just think the way they've done this has been really cool. My number 4 was Sami Zayn. I gave number 3 to Jon Moxley, and then it's just my top takes. Number 2 for me is the Acclaimed. Again, I love the Acclaimed. I'll mark for them. But again, they were on Rampage and Dynamite. And again, they're over like rubber, it's like Jay said. So again, I give them the numbers, that spot. And then number 1 would be Jericho. Again, look how much time was done. He had the opening and closing segment of Dynamite this week. And so for me, Jericho's it has to be number 1 for me. So that's all I got.
And that's going to wrap it up for this week's edition for episode 27 of the Wrestling Fans Insight podcast. I want to give a big thanks to everyone who participated. Jason, Carlos, our co-hosts, William and Heather, for joining us as well. Want to give a big thank you to Libsyn.com providing us the hosting solutions for our podcast. Without them, we wouldn't hit the wide variety ranges of the streaming platforms out there available today across the globe, or I should say all around the globe. Also want to give A big thank you to Pixabay.com allowing us to donate some money to use some royalty-free music from the artist of Coma Media, Light Saturation, and G Vidden. Also, thank you to those of you who voted for us on the Good Pods app. I mentioned that a little bit earlier today. I wanted to bring up, I actually found the email and I'm going to bring that up. We hit number 10 in the top 100 indie wrestling chart, number 18 in the top 100 wrestling chart, and number 26 in the top 100 indie sports chart. Those are some pretty big rankings, even though Good Pods is a fairly new streaming app for your podcast listening. They're actually growing pretty fast around the world, so pretty awesome to see that kind of a stat. Also, you can reach out to us on Facebook in the groups, The Fans of Pro Wrestling. Will is the big admin for that group. You can reach me on Twitter at John, JOHNWFINCITE, at John WF Insight. Heather, you want to let them know your Twitter handle?
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get it right this time because I messed it up last time. It's at Bama Girl _4 EVA. Bama Girl Forever. That's where you can find me.
Oh, you forgot your slogan, Roll Tide, bitches. Oh, just kidding.
Oh, yeah, Roll Tide, bitches.
Will does not yet have a Twitter handle, so...
Oh, yeah, I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You haven't even added me, you fool.
Dude, I told you I still haven't learned how to use the damn thing. So.
All right. Do you know your Twitter handle right off the bat or not yet?
No.
All right. We'll figure that out on a couple of weeks here when we come back to Twitter Space. So.
I'm just a simple man.
I try to be, but that's not anymore. Anyhow, yeah, you can reach me and Heather on Twitter, see us on Facebook. You're also welcome to leave us a voicemail or text on our Google Voice account. That's area code 385-367-4772. And again, you can listen to us on most major platforms: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Deezer, Ghana, Rezo, Boomplay. We also have a YouTube channel. Just go on YouTube and do a search for the Wrestling Fans Insight. You'll find us fairly quickly. Other than that, did you have anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody for listening and supporting us. Also for the patience with my questionable attendance.
Your medical emergency, basically.
Well, so, I've been away a lot.
Yeah, but also wanted to tell you, for those of you who do listen to us on the major platforms, if you're able to, please give us a rating too, a fair rating. I don't necessarily expect a perfect 5, 10, whatever the highest there is, but if you give us a fair rating, even a review, heck yeah, we appreciate it. We'll even read those reviews on air. Heather, do you have anything else?
No, just thank you for having me, like always, and hi, William, because I don't never get to say anything to you. I'm glad you're back.
Well, I had to thank you.
And I enjoyed the episode, and hope y'all liked it, and thank you.